There are multiple ways to measure the average of a data set. One way is through the mean. This is the balancing point of the data, and it is skewed by outliers. The measurement of distribution for a mean is the standard deviation, which is calculated by finding the difference between each data point in the data and the mean squared, and then get the square root of that over n. Median is not skewed by outliers and is the middle number of the data set. The measurement of distribution for median is the IQR, which is the difference between the third quartile and the first quartile. If a data set is skewed right, then its mean is greater than its median. If it is skewed left, then its median is greater than the mean. The 5-number summary of a data set includes the minimum, the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and the maximum. These 5 numbers are shown on a box plot. A box plot is sketched below. Other ways to report a data set include a histogram. These look similar to a bar graph. On the y-axis, you will always have the frequency, and the intervals on the x-axis are typically the range divided by 7. The stem plot allows us to see the data set a bit more in depth, as we can see the exact points, and it also allows us to see things such as gaps or peaks that we may not be able to see on a box plot. In a normal curve, as shown below, this is a special kind of curve that is symmetric, and it will always follow the following conditions. 68% of the normal curve will fall within 1 standard deviation of the mean. 95% of the data will fall between 2 standard deviations, and 99.7% will fall within 3 standard deviations. In order to be considered a normal curve, it must follow these conditions. The z-score is calculated by finding the difference between a point of data and the mean, and then dividing it by the standard deviation. A z-score is helpful when used with normal curves because it can help us find the probability that a certain data set, that a certain point is either higher or lower a specific number within the data set. It also is helpful using an inverse norm, which is when the area is inputted to the calculator, which then gives us the z-score. From the z-score, we can then calculate the data point.